What's good? I'm gonna make another video. The reason why, it's because I am just thinking and I want to yap. I have not got enough in my head yet. So I'm just thinking, what actually matters in basketball and what is skill? So the definition of skill is to be able to execute something at a high level repeatedly. That's what skill is. In anything. Sports, art, etc. That is what skill basically is. And the reason why I mention this, it's because the reason why we say certain players have more skill than others is because other players dominate because of athleticism, strength, size, speed, and etc. So then, what correlates to skill then? Well, all things require some type of athleticism. Obviously, it's a fucking sport. Anything, honestly, anything requires some type of athleticism, but it gauges on what matters and whatnot. So, what is considered more athleticism, strength or speed? That really depends too, strength or speed. Because also shooting, you could argue you have to be strong for that, but you don't have to be that strong compared to like bulldozing, dunking, etc. So then I beg the question then, where does the gap between athleticism and skill run in? Because our boy Kyrie Irving, right? Not as athletic as other guys, but more athletic than other guys, that he benefits more from that. And honestly, in turn, makes him a worse player. It's weird, right? Like, for guards, I honestly would say for like guards his size, he's probably like I want to say one of the most athletic, but he's like, for his skill, no, not skill, his impact relative to like everything, it's up there. And the reason why I say all this is because skill is how good you are at something versus athleticism, where like just physical traits, how much you could bench, not relative to sports. So, for example, right? Let's say Dwight Howard versus Nikola Jokic. Dwight Howard is obviously stronger, but he's not as skilled. But he's more athletic. He can jump higher. He's faster. He's just more athletic than Nikola Jokic, but he's not as skilled, right? Because he just doesn't make his shots. So, skill. Okay, so we're gonna do this in basketball. Skill in basketball is relative to basketball. Forget like making shots, right? Dribbling the ball, passing, rebounding. Those are what skills. But the athleticism is actually outside of basketball. It's more to like physical stuff, right? Speed, quickness, strength, jumping ability, stamina, even flexibility, endurance, etc. Right? So that's like physical traits. That's what athleticism is. In basketball, you technically don't need any of that. As a matter of fact, you could just throw shots up. But for basketball, it is required because it's a physical sport, right? It's easier to dominate having physicality. So then it's begging the question, what level of gap between athleticism and skill really matters? What actually matters in basketball? What matters first is making your shots at a efficient, high level, making a lot of buckets at a high percentage. Making sure you also, okay, let me say this. As you as a player, your ability to output, your input makes the most baskets and creates the most defensive stops possible as an individual. That's what matters in basketball the most, as an individual player. Well, you could do offensively and defensively as well, whether that be rebound, whatever. That's the intangible. That goes all over the place. So then I ask this again: what is skill in basketball? What actually matters? Okay, the way you score matters, right? In the different scenarios you score, because obviously if you're Shaq, right, like pretty much a lot of guards are more skilled than him because he mainly relies on just bulldozing and shooting. But also you could argue that, well, that athleticism causes him to, But then I wonder, like, certain techniques, certain ways to shoot, etc., like, that you could rely on as skill and not just athleticism. Because now we get into this weird gameplay where it's like, okay, you do a certain thing, right? And then it's like skill. So, for example, Stephen Curry and Kyrie Irving. I know I'm going to keep going back and forth, but the reason why also people say Kyrie's more skilled is because they just think Curry relies way too much on his 3-point shooting. That is also like a really dumb thing too, because that doesn't really require athleticism. As a matter of fact, what Kyrie does requires more athleticism than what Curry does. As a matter of fact, shooting the basketball probably is the least athletic thing, because passes also require a certain amount of speeds and touch and etc. But shooting is basically biomechanics, just doing the same thing over and over again. Like a basketball is not heavy, right? Like anybody can shoot a 3. Well, not anybody, but just shoot a 3, right? And what Kyrie does more on the athleticism part. But then, if we're also counting that into skill too, then I'm begging the question: what's the certain levels that actually fucking matter? Now, I was having the conversation, and again, if you're watching this video, you said it wasn't even close. You didn't even want to have the convo. And I just say that is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. That you say it's not even close, that you won't even discuss it. I mean, you've had this discussion lots of times, but the difference is I actually could come back and forth because, well, yeah, like you have your own opinion, but at the same time, it's like that you're not narrow-minded to say it's not even close, which I just think is ridiculous. But okay. What else did I want to say? Like the different skills that they possess, right? So for example, congratulations, Kyrie, you could make a left-handed hook shot 40% of the time. Like, yeah. Your post footwork gets you a shot that you make. Your midi is like what? I actually don't know the percentage. I could be wrong, but maybe 50%. I don't know. Congratulations, Kyrie. Yeah, you do all these dribble moves, just not affecting the playoffs. I also do say this too, like, at what level you do it at, because at the same time, right, like, if you're not performing at a high level, if your skills don't translate, then are they even skills? Because again, I use this analogy too. Oh, juggling 10 basketballs at once. That's what the basketball, but that doesn't do anything for basketball. So then the reason why that matters is because what actually matters in basketball, and there's certain ways you do it, I guess. But then that also begs the question too, like, why does that matter, right? Why is that skillful? Why does that mean you're skilled? It doesn't, because skill is what matters in basketball also correlates to skill. Your skill also correlates to what matters in basketball too. The reason why I'm having this conversation is because some of y'all standards are so weird. It's like some of the things you preach, okay, that makes sense, the fundamentals and whatnot. But then it's like now you're saying this guy's more skilled, but you know that doesn't impact. And I heard like it's like such a cop out. It's like NBA players are just, I don't know why y'all discredit Curry so much. Like it's so weird. Like you're just mad that he fucking knocked you out. Like you just are. Like I've literally seen things where it's just like even the high level, like, oh, why isn't Curry up there? Like, oh, because he doesn't, he's more simple. He does it, but like you see what I mean? You see how dumb that sounds? Like y'all have these standards. Y'all know. It's so dumb. Like this is a conversation I don't even want to be debatable. I just think it's Curry, bro. And if it's not Curry, it's definitely not Kyrie, because I could think of I would say Isaiah Thomas, because if we're talking about Isaiah, maybe not. But even so, like his playmaking. But if we're not even saying playing, okay, fine. Ivor said I actually would say, but if you want to say he relied on his speed or the way he did things, but this is like, okay, then like what matters? Like in order for someone to have skill, like isn't it better to like? This is why this thing is so dumb. Steve Nash, although he didn't score, so fine. Chris Paul. Again, if we're not counting playmaking and like passing as a huge thing, then the only one I could really think of is like if you wanna, is Iverson, right? And maybe if you want to go back, Jerry West, but then you could also say like the time frame, which is fair. Oh, Brunson. Brunson's also a great example. Jalen Brunson, he hasn't had the long career, but if we're talking about their best, and hell, I would even say Jalen Brunson's more skilled. But we're talking about Stephen Curry, bro. Steph. Y'all think he's just so great off ball. He's a top 10 player because he just like do you see, like you could argue he's the greatest off ball player, fine, but honestly, I would argue that. No, I mean, I would say the way he does things, like, you see how dumb this all sounds? It's like, just because those, I don't know, bro. Listen, I'm only making these videos because I'm just really frustrated right now. I'm super frustrated with combos having all over the place, and it's just, yeah, it pisses me off, that's why. And I really want to convince people because it's just blasphemy. It's blasphemy how a lot of players just discredit Curry, like, because it's weird. It's like he's so great in an unorthodox way. It's like y'all still manage to find ways to discredit him. I don't know. So, in conclusion, yeah, this is all dumb. I'm gonna probably make more videos because I'm just frustrated with the basketball community at this moment.